Welcome to Girlfriends Bible Study, a live Bible study with Connie and friends. Each week, Connie and her girlfriends engage in a lively conversation as they read and study scripture. So, grab a pen, your journal, and your best friend and enjoy this enlightening Bible study.
Hello, everybody. Hello to my sisters who are here, and welcome to Girlfriends Bible Study. I changed the name this week. I changed the name to Girlfriends Bible Study. And so for our last Bible study of the year, it's called Girlfriends Bible Study. And I have two of my best girlfriends on with me tonight. One of them is my blood sister, and the other is my mud sister. So they're both sisters to me. I've known them both the majority of one I've known all my life. So I can't even say the majority of my life because that's true. But the other one I've known the majority of my life because we realize it has been a full 40 years now. It has been a full 40. In fact, it's about to be 42. So we're at 41, 42 years knowing each other. That's like older than some people who are watching this thing. That's the part that like messes me up. So anyway, we're finishing our theme, our December theme of friendship in the Bible. And initially, my other girlfriend, Latrice, was going to lead tonight. She's under the weather. So, Father, in the name of Jesus, we just thank you for her healing. We're going to send her those healing vibes, healing prayers, healing angels, healing power. She is healed in the name of Jesus. So, she's not able to lead tonight, but I know what she was going to talk about. So, which was on my list. But I'm going to talk about it in a little bit of a different standpoint, one of which both my sisters on this call know about. So we're talking about friendship, and tonight we're going to talk a little bit about Ruth and Naomi. But before I do, I have to tell one of my stories, always a funny story. So I have a good friend who I was introduced to by one of the good friends on this call. So Spring is on this call, my sister friend Spring. And when I relocated back to DC, the DC area, Spring immediately introduced me to this woman named Manda. And she didn't actually introduce me to Manda. She told me there's a woman that I know. We serve on the same board, and she's going to have a short film um, screening, and you should go because she's in the industry. She makes films. You should go. So, I basically got to Spring's house in March. And then later in March, I went to this screening of Manda's where she was showcasing, it was a short film showcase. And she was showcasing all these short films, of which her two short films were the finale. So she pushed everyone forward as she does. And that's so good to hear, sweetie. She pushed everyone forward as she does, and allowed their films to be screened first, and then it was the screening of her two short films, which are both award-winning internationally. I mean, they do the things. Well, I was so impressed with both of her films and with the way that she was with the people who were there, and the way she was so generous with sharing the spotlight and pushing other people forward and making sure she gave them their flowers, and she was just so kind and then smart, right? You could see she was smart, she had empathy, she had compassion, she had humility, just all the things she was pushing forward. And I immediately knew, like, I'm thinking she's gonna be my friend. She don't know it yet, but she's gonna be my friend. Well, they took questions and answers at the end of the screenings, and so I had a question for Manda because it wasn't just that her films were good. I really wanted to know her motivation, like where did she get her inspiration for making these films? And her answer to that, which is irrelevant to this Bible study, but her answer was another one of those things that let me know she's going to be my friend, because the true creatives that I found, they get their inspiration from everywhere and anything. It could be, look at the way this cup is sitting on the table. That reminds me of a story I could tell. Like it can be that random. And sure enough, one of her films, she talked about how um, she was just looking through some photos and she saw this photo and this concept came to her and she made the film. So I immediately, I fell in love right then. I was like, I love her. I want to be her friend. So I connected. We took a picture that night. I have the picture, and I have to figure. I don't know how to do it, but if I had my stuff together, I would show you the first picture we ever took because there's the picture of me and Manda, and that was the night I met her. And later, within a couple of weeks, she was having a brunch, and so she invited me to that brunch, and I went there, and we connected there, and then she something else, and I went to that, and then she started introducing me to all these people. Like we had coffee and meetings and all of this, and she must have introduced me because she's an Uber connector, so she probably introduced me to, I mean, easily 50 people within a couple of months. Easily 50, could be 100. But here's the funny part of the story. This is my favorite part of the story. Manda's statement, which she will say publicly, was, I didn't need any more friends. I was done, attracting friends. I was good with that. I had enough people in my circle. I was good. I didn't need any more friends. I was all right on the friend tip. And then here you come and you just become a friend. Like you just walk into, I'm your friend now and you're my friend. Period. Now you're my friend and you're mine. It was literally like I took her like a stuffed animal, like you are my squishy and you will be my squishy forever. It was that kind of thing. And she said, and then Connie, you don't just come just with yourself. Once you're your friend, you meet all of the rest of your friends. And I'm like, I do. I introduce all my friends to each other because my feeling is there are only so many really great people in the world. And I happen to be blessed to know a lot of them. So I introduce them to each other so that they can know that there are other people like them out there because they're so wonderful. I want them all to know each other. That's a me trait. Some people are very compartmentalized with their friends. Never the twain shall meet. Like, those are my work friends. These are my hangout friends. Those are my club friends. These are my church friends. Like, some people are to the, and then not only do they classify them by wherever they met them, then they can only deal with them one on one. Like if they're having brunch, they have brunch with one friend. They would never combine their groups of friends and blend them all together. They would never do that. Well, I'm the same, whether I'm in business, church, at home. I remember one time there was this person who had at the time become a friend of mine, and she came over to my house for dinner and she saw me and Zora at home. We were laughing and talking. She had worked with me on a production, so she saw me in the workplace, and she saw my work persona, as she called it. But then she came to my house for dinner, and she said, "You're exactly the same way at home as you are. I thought, like you'd be different, but you were exactly the same." I'm like, I'm really just the same. I really am. And so I don't have a problem blending my friends. And in fact, I love to blend my friends because they end up developing really great friendships as well. So, and Gina is one of my friends. So she's my sister, but she's also my friend. So Gina knows all my friends. All my friends know Gina. Like know her, know her. Not like, oh, yeah, that's your sister, right? Mm-mm. No, Gina is everybody's sister because she's my sister. So therefore, she's everybody's sister. Similar with Spring. You going on 40 plus years. Spring's my sister. People meet Spring. People know Spring before they ever meet Spring. And they're like, "You're Spring." They go up hugging her. She heard so much about you. I know my voice probably just faded out because it's Zoom and it's like, yeah, we don't do those high pitch. That's why you can't hear Spring most of the time. When she's on here, you can't even hear her because she talks at another in a register. So she has to do her low voice to be able to be heard. Anyway, I know I'm picking up my Spring, but for good reason. I'm not lying. I'm teasing her, but I'm not I'm not telling a fib. So anyway, but people when they meet Spring, they feel like they already know Spring because all they have heard about is Spring this, Spring that, Spring this, Spring that. And so, like I said, same with Gina. Every time people meet Gina, and if they're coming over, and I say, guess who's gonna be here? Who? Gina. They love my friends. They love my sisters. This is my blessing. This is a blessing. And so, so Manda, um, came to mind tonight as we were talking about friends because she was my reluctant friend. She was like, I got enough friends. What are you doing? How are we becoming friends when I didn't need any more friends? But it's okay. She's there now. She's there. She knows. She goes on a trip. I have a travel schedule in my notebook. Like we had a meeting and I'd already written down her travel schedule. We're at lunch. And I said, wait, let me flip to that page. I go back to my Monda page and she's looking. She was like, oh, yeah, this is, oh, yeah. And I said, I don't think I have. She said, no, it's there too. And so we're looking. I have her travel schedule down through January, y'all, because she's my friend and I need to know when she's traveling. So I know how to pray for her. I know where she is. I know she's doing okay. The two sister friends that are on this call, Spring and Gina, we share our location. I know where they are. They know where I am. My friend Crystal, same thing. Crystal shares her location with me. I share mine with her. In fact, it was so funny. She called me on Christmas Eve, not knowing I had been with my sister friend Spring all day. And she called and she said, I see you're back at home now. I saw you were out in them streets. What's she doing in Bethesda? I was like, girl. So I said, today was the day I was with Spring and I explained what was going on. She was like, oh, that's right. Because of course she knows, because Spring is my sister friend. And Spring and Crystal are friends because they're friends with me. They're friends with each other. They love each other. They just love each other. And so, anyway, but she was tracking me. See, I saw you out in them streets. That's what I'm talking about. That's that good, good friendship. That's the good, good. That's that good, good friendship. But again, the reason I thought of Manda is because Manda was the reluctant friend because she had no friends. She came because she just got swept along. She wasn't expecting, but she came and became my dear sister friend. Manda's an she's an only child by her mother, but she's got siblings through her father that she's close to as well. But from her mom, she's an only child. Like, you're not anymore. You're not an only child anymore. Let me tell you how this is going to work. Now you got a bunch of sisters. So, anyway, so reluctant friendship. That's what I was thinking about was reluctant friendship. And so when I'm thinking about Ruth and Naomi, look at Ruth chapter 1. I'm just going to read the whole chapter and then I'm going to promote a friend's book that is really excellent. If you haven't gotten it, you should get it. So we're just going to read chapter 1. So it says, in the days when the judges ruled, there was a famine in the land. So a man from Bethlehem in Judah, together with his wife and 2 sons, went to live for a while in the country of Moab. The man's name was Elimelech. His wife's name was Naomi, and the names of his 2 sons were Mahlon or Malon, I'm going to call him Mahlon, and Kilion. They were Ephrathites from Bethlehem, Judah, and they went to Moab and lived there. Now Elimelech, Naomi's husband, died, and she was left with her 2 sons. They married Moabite women because they're living in Moab. So they married Moabite women. One named Orpah, which is, in case you guys don't know, where Oprah's name came from because they misspelled it. Instead of Orpah, they put Oprah, but it did come from the Bible. So Orpah, and the other, Ruth. So their 2 sons married Orpah and Ruth. After they had lived there about 10 years, both Mahlon and Kilion also died. I don't know what killed them 10 years later. And Naomi was left without her 2 sons and her husband. Maybe it is Malon, but it's Mahlon. So that's like Malon to me. But anyway. So when Naomi heard in Moab that the Lord had come to the aid of his people by providing food for them, she and her daughters in law prepared to return home from there. Because as you saw, she was from Bethlehem. She wasn't from Moab. They moved to Moab. With her 2 daughters in law, she left the place where she had been living for at least 10 years, right? Because they were married and they'd been there for some years. So she left the place where she'd been living and set out on the road that would take them back to the land of Judah. Then Naomi said to her daughters in law, go back, each of you, to your mother's home. May the Lord show you kindness as you have shown kindness to your dead husbands and to me. May the Lord grant that each of you will find rest in the home of another husband. Then she kissed him goodbye, and they wept aloud and said to her, "We will go back with you to your people." That's the reluctant friendship. She's like, "No, go back to your people." And they're like, "No, no, we're going with you. We love you." But Naomi said, "Return home, my daughters. My daughters, not my daughters in law, just my daughters." They must have been real close, y'all. "Why would you come with me? Am I going to have any more sons who could become your husbands?" That's kind of gross. "Return home, my daughters. I am too old to have another husband. Even if I thought there was still hope for me, even if I had a husband tonight and then gave birth to sons, would you wait until they grew up? You just gonna wait 18 years or whatever the age was in. Could be 12, could be 14, I don't know. But even 18, right? Even 14. Certainly not, come on now. Would you remain unmarried for them? No, my daughters. It is more bitter for me than for you, because the Lord's hand has turned against me. Well, she's getting a little pessimistic, but I'm just saying. At this, they wept aloud again. Then Orpah kissed her mother in law goodbye. She was like, "Okay, okay, I'll see you later." She left. But Ruth clung to her. "Look," said Naomi, "your sister in law is going back to her people and her gods. Go back with her." But Ruth replied, "Don't urge me to leave you or to turn back from you. Where you go, I will go. And where you stay, I will stay. Your people will be my people, and your God, my God. Where you die, I will die, and there I will be buried. May the Lord deal with me, be it ever so severely, if even death separates you and me." When Naomi realized that Ruth was determined to go with her, she stopped urging her. So that's Manda. Manda, like, "I got enough friends, Connie. It was nice meeting you." And I'm like, "Yeah, okay, I'm going with you." She was like, "No, no, no. I got enough friends. You go back to Spring. That's your friend. Go back to your little friend Spring." Like, "No, I got Spring, but I also you're now my little friend too." Anyway, so the two women went on until they came to Bethlehem. When they arrived in Bethlehem, the whole town was stirred because of them. And the women exclaimed, "Can this be Naomi?" "Don't call me Naomi," she told them. "Call me Mara, because the Almighty has made my life very bitter. I went away full, but the Lord has brought me back empty. Why call me Naomi? The Lord has afflicted me. The Almighty has brought misfortune upon me." So Naomi, they're like, "Bump that, we're still calling you Naomi." So Naomi returned from Moab, accompanied by Ruth the Moabite, her daughter in law, arriving in Bethlehem as the barley harvest was beginning. So then it tells the whole story about Ruth and Boaz and all of that. And it's a great story. It's only 4 books in Ruth, so 4 chapters in Ruth, so it's worth reading. Let me do a little promotion here. One of my dear, 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 dear friends, Pastor Morgan Stevens and his wife Carrie, have written this book, Friendship Can Save the World. Friendship Can Save the World. And it is all about the story, the book of Ruth. It's all about Ruth. And it's a powerful book. It's good and it's encouraging and it's um, you know, it's inspirational. It makes you grateful for the friendships that you have. And so if you haven't read Friendship Can Save the World, you need to read it. But I was just moved to, as we talk about Ruth and Naomi and their friendship and how Ruth was like, "I'm gonna be with you. I'm gonna be your friend, even if you're telling me to go home and go be with my own people and be like, we can be fair weather friends. Like, you be my friend from over there. Nope, I am sticking by your side. I'm not leaving." And that was me with my Manda. That is, been me and Spring. It's been me and Gina. It's been me and all my good friends. And honestly, the list is so long. I was talking to Zora on Christmas Eve, and we were talking about the things that we're grateful for. And actually, I think it wasn't Christmas Eve. I think it was the day before Christmas Eve. We were talking about just gratefulness. No, it was Christmas Eve. It was Christmas Eve. Yeah, because I'd had a nightmare going into Christmas Eve, and I was telling Zora about regrets of decisions that I made. And Zora said, "But Mom, think about how many blessings you have. Let's start first." Zora said, "Let's start first with your friends." I mean, Mom, like people don't have friends like you got friends. You got friends, like not just little friends. You got real friends, and it's true. It's true, and it is interesting when you find somebody and you see a kindred spirit in them, you see something in them, and you say, "That's going to be my friend." Even before they've realized they're going to be your friend, you're like, "That person over there, they're going to be my friend. Watch this. That's my friend right there. They don't even know they're my friend. They're going to be my friend." I'm sitting in the audience. Monda hadn't met me, didn't know my name. I was like, excuse me, could you answer this one question? She answered my question. I was like, "You're going to be my friend." Love that girl. I love her. Knowing Manda, as all of my sisters and friends, but knowing Manda, which my reluctant friend, um, has changed my life for the better. So anyway, cheers to friendship. I've talked about so many of my friends this month, and I'm so grateful for all of them. This holiday season makes me always thankful for my friendships and my sisters and whatnot. But because we've been studying friendship in the Bible this month, it really is hit home even more so. Just how much and how thankful I am for my close sisters, my close friends. And on that note, I'm going to remove the pen from myself and invite my sister friends who are with me onto the screen. Let's see if I can get them to come on. Let's see if they'll come on. Here they are. Hello, sister friends.
Hello. I was getting the jiggity Wi-Fi for a minute, so I went off camera. Um,
Oh, I see.
um, Two things. Hi, Springle. I'm so glad to see you. Um,
You're mute, honey.
you are muted, Springle. And I will say two things. One is I just saw a reel today about a woman saying, "Stay open to friendship." How she had gone to an event, and there was a woman there, and they started talking, and she said she felt like that connection that you felt with Manda right away. And she said normally she's the one who says, "I think we're going to be friends," but she didn't this time. And the other woman said, "I think we're going to be friends. Let's go to coffee. Let's go get coffee." And she said, "We just spent 3 hours at coffee just talking." And she said, okay, my husband just moved my head on camera. Anyway, this is why we like each other, why we've been together as many years as we have. So anyway, so that's really interesting that you're saying that whole concept of stay open to friendships and at any age. She said, "I'm 53, that woman is 37." She said, so that age difference makes no difference when you meet somebody and you have that, hey, that connection. She said, we had it like you, Amanda. And then I was just thinking about the fact that, yes, we do share our locations. How many of us share our locations so that somebody is always checking on us? And one time when I was at work, and it was my job to watch the door for an event. And so I'm just walking back and forth in front of the door. And I get a text from my sister, "Why are you walking up and down the same block in downtown Durham right now?" She just was like, what is happening right now? I was like, and when I told my coworkers, I was like, my sister just called me out for walking up and down the block in downtown Durham. They were like, she watches where you are. She knows where you are. I was like, yes, she does. Yes, she does. She'll call me and be like, "You don't have to work today. I see it is 9:15 and you are still at home. What's going on?" And that's exactly how I want it.
Yep. Yep.
I love it. I love it, Jean. Yeah, we call my daughter Amina, we call her the stalker because she knows where we are. She watches those locations. And one time she called and she was kind of in a little bit panicked. She said, "Oh, it looks like you set Aisha on the highway and just left her there." And I realized she's in Michigan and we're in DC. So I was taking Aisha home and somehow the app got stuck on the highway. she said, like, she
Her
said,
dot
like
stayed there.
Aisha.
You went home.
Yeah,
I just abandoned. You just abandoned our child on the freeway. Yeah.
My sister.
So funny. But with the Bible study, what I like about this one, I something I kind of hadn't thought about, with Naomi, that they had more than just a mother-daughter type or mother-daughter-in-law situation. Like she didn't say, like a parent would say, no, this is what's best for you, go do it. And you go do it because your parent told you to do it. But a friend was like, no, I'm not leaving you. I don't get, you told me to go away. I'm gonna just walk behind you. I'm gonna just, you can leave me if you want. I'm gonna walk right behind you. And I'm gonna be, that's kind of what that was like. And so I hadn't really thought about that before. So that's something new that I kind of, we all know the story, but from that perspective, I like that, that she was like, as we have a saying in our family from the one niece who refused to get off the swing set. It's funny. We've been saying it for like 35, 40 years. I ain't going nowhere. That's what she's famous for saying that. The people told her, they're like, okay, we're going in the house now. She was on the swing set. She said, I ain't going nowhere.
She was like, I got my spot.
Exactly.
Right. And she called her daughter, not daughter-in-law, but really she called her friend.
Yes.
Right? And don't get me started on how I hit the daughter-in-law lottery, because I did. My daughters are, my babies brought me daughters who I love, like, I gave birth to them. But there is that relationship where your kids and their people become your friends. And I heard somebody reminded me just earlier this month that most of the time you spend with your children, you will both be adults. And so if you have to build a relationship that makes you friends, because otherwise, they're adults and they don't have to be in your life. And certainly their people don't have to be in your life. So just feeling so grateful that not only are my children people I am honored to call friend, but so are their people. The women they brought into their lives are people I am honored to call friends. They are smart and funny and kind and all the things. So yeah.
I remember Jean was telling me, I can't remember who she was talking to, but she introduced Jasmine as her daughter. And then she introduced PJ as her son. And then they were kissing. And the person was like, what?
Yeah.
Help me understand what's going on here.
Yeah, I would be like, this is my daughter and my son and their baby. And be like,
and their baby?
Right.
I love it.
She had to fix that up. She had to explain what was going on with that. She was like, wait, let me start over.
But what a blessing, though. That's exactly that. That's exactly that. And Jasmine is baby dragon too, right?
She is baby dragon.
That's baby dragon.
Baby dragon, yes.
And so
yeah.
That's a great example of that.
Yeah.
That's a great example of that. Yeah.
He's baby dragon and Ellie's little daughter. So yeah, they each have a name from me.
Everybody's got a name.
Yeah, I got a name.
Everybody's got a name. So anyway, but yeah, I wish I'd been savvy enough. I hadn't even thought to pull up the Manda picture to have our first picture. Let me see. I'm gonna see if I can find it while we're talking, and then I'll do a screen share.
It is a beautiful picture. Manda didn't know what was coming. She had no idea. Well, Manda had no idea what was coming for her. No idea.
No idea. So this is me and Manda. I'm gonna share my screen so that the audience can see it. This is me and Manda day one. Oh, hold on. That's not what I'm trying to do. Let me start over. Okay, let's try one more time. Share. Let's see if it'll just do it like it's supposed to. No, that's okay.
It says you are. Oh, it started. There it is.
There it is.
There it is.
Manda.
It is.
You're like,
that's Manda.
hugging like you just met. Hi, I just met this person. But yes, now you pull up
Exactly.
some more
And I
recent
was like,
pictures.
this is my new
Love
friend,
it.
Manda.
Yep, you pull up
She
some
had her
more
poop fitter
recent pictures, you can
shirt
see.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's like, I don't know her.
Who is this
And
crazy
then
lady
let me just
who
see.
is this crazy lady springs into the screening?
Say it again.
I just said, she's like, who is this crazy lady that springs into the screening?
Right?
Yeah.
I can't find the other one. There's another picture that is of us, and she actually just sent it to me recently. And let me see. I might be able to hold it up on my phone since she just sent it. Let's see. Photos. Of course, it's not going to show because I'm looking for it. So never mind. Dang.
Quick, hi.
It's a picture of the two of us. Huh? Quick hide. I know that's exactly what it said. I'm like, fine, fine. So I'm gonna see if I scroll if I see it. Because I've been noticing that I think my storage is getting too full, so it doesn't hold on to everything like it used to. Oh, but I found it. So let's see.
Yeah, perfect.
See,
You
that's
see
what
it?
I'm talking about.
That is beautiful.
That's beautiful. That's friends, man. That first one was like, okay, well, here we are. Here I'm gonna
I don't know you.
take a picture with this stranger. Yes, that picture is sisters right
Yeah,
there.
that's
That
it.
is
Sisters.
that
That's
would be an
sisters.
excellent side by side of before and after, right? That would be excellent. Love it.
Yes, before and after.
hmm Then and
I
now.
love that picture.
Oh,
So, what'd you say, sister?
I said then and now.
It is then and now. Then and now. Anyway, well, I will let you all go. So, bye, Facebook.
Bye, Facebook.